everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Ask Lois, the Relatable Therapist. And so today, what I wanted to talk about is back to school. I'm seeing it all over social media on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. People are posting things about going back to school, what they're going to be wearing, what clothes they're buying, school supplies. And so, as a educator, because I'm a special ed teacher, and so I wanted to talk to you about what teachers want parents to know about back to school. And a lot of times parents don't find this information out until parent teacher conference. And then they're like, well, why didn't they say anything about this? Because I want to talk about middle school and high school students. Now we know the younger grades, parents go to open house and they find out information from the teachers. But a lot of times when they're in middle school and in high school, they don't do open houses or the parents just don't come. And so I want to talk to you today about what parents need to know about back to school so their child can be successful. One of the very first things I want to tell parents is to understand what the rules are for the electronic device. Kids in middle school, they have different teachers, and the different teachers might have different standards in how they use the electronic device. Especially in high school, different classes, based on what they're doing in those classes, they're going to be using electronic devices in different ways. So the first thing is to go over the classroom electronic device policy. A lot of times as a teacher, when I was teaching, parents would say, well, this teacher lets them do that. And it's like, yeah, but we don't do that in this classroom. And so parents may say, well, that's confusing, but really it's not, because they have different subjects and they use the electronic device in different ways. And so very first thing is make sure you understand what the classroom policies are and to let your child know and to enforce that. So when they come home and they say, well, I don't know why we can't do this in the class, just pull out the policies, because most teachers give you a copy of it and say, well, this is math. You can use it during the whole period, but now this is reading. You don't need the electronic device, so you have to put it away. So first thing, make sure you understand the electronic device policy. The second thing, make sure your child prioritizes charging their iPad or their Chromebook over their phone. What I'm saying is, if they're charging their phone, make sure they're charging those devices. And I know a lot of times what happens, kids come to class and their iPad or their Chromebook is not charged and they're running around the room. Some rooms don't have those long strip cords where they can plug them in. They may not have, because remember, the classrooms are like 15, 20, 30 kids. They don't have all of those ports. Some classes do, but some don't, especially if you have an art class. And so now the child doesn't have their iPad or their Chromebook charged, and now they can't use it, and it becomes an issue. And then when the teachers call home, parents are upset. Well, why can't they charge it? Well, just like I said, there's a lot of kids in the classroom, and why wasn't it charged the night before? Because those iPads and Chromebooks, they last 5 to 6 hours. So when a parent says, oh, they said they charged it the night before, well, this is second period. Why is the charge going out? And so make sure, encourage your child when they're plugging their phone up at night to plug up that iPad or that Chromebook. Next thing, even though the kids have their cell phones, there are still landlines in the school. They still have landlines. The secretary has a landline, principal has a landline, the departments have a landline. So you don't need to call your child in the middle of the day. You don't need to text them in the middle of the day. If it is an emergency, you can still call the school and they will get to that child what they need to know, because that causes a big problem in school when parents are calling their kids in the middle of the day. And again, the classroom policies about the cell phones is you can't be on the cell phone. So now there's an issue because the parent is calling. And I remember so many times kids would be like, well, my mama calling me and I got to see what my mama's calling me about. And it just disrupts the classroom. So please, parents, don't call your kids in the middle of the class. If it's an emergency, again, the landlines are still there. You can call and someone will get that emergency to your child. But when you call or text in the middle of the class, the school day, it creates a problem for the teacher and for the student. The next thing is, and this is for you to do at home, parents, please limit your child's screen time. If they have an assignment due, they're at home, they're on their electronic device. And I know for some parents, that keeps the child busy. So they don't have to, try to keep them occupied. They let them be on their electronic device. That's fine during the summer. But when school time comes, You need to limit that time so they can be able to do whatever the assignment is. And so kids really think they can multitask, and they really can't. They don't know how to scroll and listen or read. They don't know how to do all of that. And so when they get to school and the work isn't finished and the teacher gives them a failing grade or a low grade, now parents want to call and find out what's going on. But when your child comes home, limit their screen time. When it's time to do homework it's not required on the computer, you can take that tablet, computer, whatever away from them and allow them to focus. Remember, middle school kids, they need help with this. Sometimes some high school students do too, but they need help with them. And then as the parent, you can limit that time so they can be able to focus on their classwork. Because I can tell you, if they have that phone there or the electronic device and they're supposed to be reading, as soon as it beeps, as soon as they hear a text, they're going to be on their phone. That's going to become most important. That's the priority for them. But you as the parent have to limit that time so they can be able to do their schoolwork. Another important point that I want to make out, especially with middle school students, that this is a transitional phase for them. And a lot of them have only had one teacher from first grade to fifth grade. And now, sixth, seventh, and eighth, they have 4 or 5 different teachers. They need to know how to be organized. They need to know how to be able to handle the different subjects that they're having, because they're going to be having multiple subjects. And so they need to know how to juggle this. So as a parent, you need to be able to provide those tools for them like a planner, an organizer, things that's going to help them to be organized. Even they have apps where the kids can organize their subjects and where it can pop up when things are due. So as a parent, that's something that you can help support your kid in, being organized so they can be able to handle the multiple subjects that they have to do. And as you are helping them to become organized, this is a lifelong skill that they're going to need. This is a lifelong skill for them to be able to be organized. And another skill that they need is encourage them to advocate for themselves and to talk to the teacher. They're in middle school and they're getting ready to go into high school. Another skill is being able to be responsible. That's a skill. So when they have an assignment due and they need clarification, parents don't have to call up and get the clarification. The child is in the classroom. Ask them to ask the teacher. Have them write it down, the steps, whatever they need. Because one issue that I have seen is that parents will call up to the school to talk to the teacher and say they don't know what they're supposed to be doing. You didn't explain it to them. The child says they don't know what is going on. Encourage them to seek help, to ask for attention. Again, you're teaching them a skill to be responsible. And teachers love that. Teachers love when students come up to them and say, hey, can you help me with this? I don't understand, because they're taking part in their learning. So don't feel that the teacher doesn't want to talk to the student, because sometimes students will say, the teacher didn't want to talk to me. And that's absolutely false. But the parents and the teachers work together. So if the child says, I don't know what we're supposed to be doing, encouraging them, well, you know what? Next day, go to the school, ask the teacher to write it down, which most teachers, they probably gave you a rubric to show you exactly what to do, but maybe the child lost it. I don't know. But encourage them to talk with the teacher. Trying to encourage parents, it's okay for you to advocate for your child, but encourage your child to advocate for themselves and get clarity on something that they don't understand. Again, this is a lifelong skill called accountability. This is a skill that you are helping your child to learn. Attendance is a key component to college readiness skills. While they're in high school, the counselors will let them know that. The counselor will talk to them about college and readiness skills. But attendance is one of the big ones. And some things that I see is parents let the children stay home. And that's why the attendance is poor. Don't let your child miss school unnecessarily. Sometimes they miss school because they're late. They stay up late or they miss the bus. Well, you can bring them to school. Hopefully you and your child have that understanding that when it's time to get up for school, to be there at the bus stop. Not assume that the bus driver is going to wait for them as they're walking out the door. Now, this is something that kids would say to me when they were late or they didn't come to school. Well, the bus driver didn't wait for me. Why should the bus driver wait for you when you know what time it is when you know what time you're supposed to be out there? Because you decide to walk out of your house when the bus comes up. You're in high school now. You're not in grade school. You're in high school. You have to be at the bus stop on time. And I know parents will come to school and say the bus driver didn't wait for my child. But again, we're trying to teach responsibility. Was your child out there when they were supposed to be out there? And I can understand every now and then, but a lot of times it becomes a habit. They get up late. They're trying to eat late. And then they want the bus to sit there and wait for them as they slowly walk to the bus. But again, what about the people that are there on time? Should they be penalized and have to wait for you because you decided not to wake up on time, you decided to sleep late, you decided to stay up late? Trying to teach your child responsibility. So everything that we're doing, you're teaching your child responsibility from the time they get on that bus all the way until they get into school. And I just wanted to stop and talk about that because that used to be a big issue with kids, and they would blame it on the bus driver. Well, the bus driver didn't wait for me. Well, that's not his job. His job is to pick up the kids and get them to school on time, because if he's late getting the kids to school on time, then it's like, why are the kids late coming to school? So you see, it's like a domino effect. So you have to be on time for school so you can be able to get your studies. So don't let your child stay home unnecessarily. Oh, I missed the bus. Well, you got to get up on time for the bus. I don't want to go to school because I didn't study. Well, again, you're teaching them responsibility. Because you didn't study is not a reason to stay home. You just have to, your behaviors have consequences. Your behavior was you didn't study, so the consequences, you get a low grade. Next time you'll study. Again, we're teaching them these skills. I didn't have an outfit that I liked. That's another big one. I'll see kids say, well, why didn't you come? Well, the outfit I wanted to wear, it wasn't washed. Well, wear a different outfit. That's not a reason to stay home. Or I just didn't want to come. Again, attendance is connected to college readiness. And if your child is saying, in 3 years, I want to go to college, well, they have to start now. And then the last point I wanted to make is about special ed students. Special ed students, because I'm a special ed teacher, I just want parents to know that it's a homeschool connect. The teachers are there to help you with your child. It is a homeschool connect. As a parent, familiarize yourself with the IEP or the 504. And if you as a parent think that it's not working, it needs to be revised, call the teacher up. Don't wait till the IEP, because some IEPs doesn't happen until 3 months into the school year, 6 months into the school year, and all that wasted time. If you as a parent feel that, you know what, we need to discuss this, call the special ed teacher up. You don't have to wait to an IEP meeting. You don't have to wait to a special meeting. You can call them up and say, you know what, I think we need to adjust this, and they will have a meeting. So I just wanted to just share some of those things that I feel as a teacher that parents need to know. Parents need to know this when they're starting school with their kids. And so if you like the video, share and like it, and please share this with other parents. Like I said, we see Instagram posts, Facebook, TikTok talking about going back to school, but these are the essentials. Once you're dressing nice, you're looking nice, you got your supplies. Now, what do you need to do to be successful? And as a teacher, if you follow these, your child will be a success in school. Here's another video that's going to help you to be that awesome parent that I know you are, and to help your child be successful.